Unemployment is now at 8.9%, its highest so far this year. Thousands of small and medium businesses have also shut down, and communities dependent on tourism are facing the greatest difficulty.
Concerns about the Philippines economy. You talk about the fact that it is recovering, it's back on track, but the pandemic has left deep scars on people's incomes as well as the economy.
By the second half of next year, the COVID-19 will be behind us. So the most important issue at that time will be inflation still, and of course, unemployment. I think the impact of the COVID-19 is on our youth because they lost one full year of studies. But, the youth are very resilient. And so we can easily catch up on that. The Philippines has a very young population. Its median age is 25. So investment in infrastructure and investment in human capital. I think those two items should be the concern of the next government.
What we've seen in the US and what we're seeing in countries such as the emerging market and the Philippines, they've outperformed. And we think this rotation back into value or under love securities, like in traditional industries, for example, like energy and mining, will continue to do well. We think the Philippines is no exception to this.
Technology is ever evolving. Regardless of the current market conditions, new technologies are emerging with groundbreaking innovations to tackle world issues. It must be strange that predictions are being made about the future of technology in these uncertain times. But here's the fun part. These innovations are what makes life easier in the coming years. From systems that could predict the risk of a viral transmission to drones that could deliver essentials to your door, their industry is transforming our lives.
We are right now in Catholic Church. The Philippines is predominantly Catholic, so religion plays a very crucial part of our culture. Right there is a statue that shows the unborn child. In the Filipino Constitution, in our law, the rights of the unborn child and the mother given equal protection. Abortion is not allowed in any circumstances.
Tell us about the reality of those who are experiencing abuse. How would you describe this reality?
I would look at this reality from the perspective of how alienating and isolating experiences of abuse are, especially gender-based violence. It happens not just because there is a deliberate effort to make people of a different gender, usually women or people of diverse sexuality or sexual orientation, gender identities. It's not just an effort to make them feel excluded, but this whole kind of like social norm that puts women and people who are not born male and masculine at lesser power than those who are. So this environment that some of us grow up in, where people are visibly being physically violent to each other, so that increases the vulnerability of gender-based violence.
All right.
The autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao has one of the highest tendency for underweight children, and it may be attributed to the history of conflict in the region. Aid groups have been feeding children in many public schools for years, and the government has promised to expand that program nationwide and include kindergartens and elementary schools. It hopes to eradicate hunger, but life in Manila is also violent. Often, like many others, they're harassed because they are homeless and are classified as illegal vendors.
Like populist leaders the world over, President Joseph Estrada saw clear mileage in a robust crime crackdown. While Estrada claimed the political points, it was Dirty Harry who got the results, even if it wasn't always pretty. Carrying guns can now court disaster, all in time for the evening news.
If there's an armed aggression and you have to protect your life or even protect the lives of your companions, I told my people.
Former President Hamid Karzai was reported to have accepted money from both the CIA and the government of Iran, with members of his family said to have gained influence through questionable means. From Afghanistan being one of the world's top producers of opium to claims of administration communication with the Taliban, issues of power abuse abound.
In 2017, footage from Libya showed migrants being sold as slaves.
These men are sold for 1,200 Libyan pounds, $400 apiece.
The exploitation prompted outrage and was described as modern slavery, a term now used for the 40 million people worldwide that are being exploited. From trapped construction workers in Dubai to women exploited for sex by traffickers.
I was also taken into a few other countries for the sole purpose of being trafficked and being sold.